Hi everybody, welcome back. We're doing Genesis chapter 40 verses 1 through 15. Sometime later, the Egyptian king's baker and wine taster did something their master didn't like, so Pharaoh became angry with his two officials, the chief wine taster and the chief baker. He put them in prison in the house of the captain of the palace guard. It was the same prison where Joseph was kept. The captain put Joseph in charge of those men, so Joseph took care of them. Some time passed while they were in prison. Then each of the two men had a dream. The men were the Egyptian king's baker and the wine taster, and they were being held in prison, and both of them had dreams the same night, and each of their dreams had its own meaning. Joseph came to them the next morning, and he saw that they were sad. They were Pharaoh's officials, and they were in prison with Joseph in his master's house. And he said, "Why do you look sad today? We both had dreams, but no one can tell us what they mean." And Joseph said, "Only God knows what dreams mean, so tell me your dreams." So the chief wine taster told Joseph his dream. He said, "In my dream, I saw a vine in front of me, and there were 3 branches on the vine, and as soon as it budded, it flowered, and bunches of ripe grapes grew on it. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand. I took the grapes, I squeezed them into Pharaoh's cup, and I put the cup in his hand." "Here's what your dream means," Joseph said. The 3 branches are the 3 days. In 3 days, Pharaoh will let you out of prison. He'll give your job back to you, and you will put Pharaoh's cup back into his hand. That's what you used to do when you were his wine taster. But when everything is going well with you, please remember me. Do me a favor, speak to Pharaoh about me. Get me out of this prison. I was taken away from the land of Hebrews by force. Even here, I haven't done anything wrong that I should be in prison for." And so that's where we will start tomorrow, on verse 16. Now, we are on chapter 24, a homecoming and an inspiration. And there you see Celeste. Celeste hopped onto the desk and glanced around the room. She was ecstatic to be back in Joseph's room, where things looked and smelled and felt comforting. Her heart felt a twang when she saw Joseph's shirt hanging from its wooden peg, and Cornelius was perched in the cage, his head tucked under his wing, his eyes closed. Celeste heard soft breathing coming from the cot where she could see Joseph sound asleep. She squeaked up to the cage, "Psst, Cornelius!" Cornelius opened one eye. Celeste tried again, "It's me!" Cornelius leapt up with a start, calling from his cage. "Well, look who that cat dragged in," he chirped. "Quiet, I don't want to wake anyone." Cornelius glanced over at the cot. "Hey, I've been worried sick. Where have you been?" "Well, it's quite a tale of mud, rain, almost drowning, and an osprey," Celeste sighed. There was a creaking from the cot. Joseph was turning over in his sleep. "Here's a present for you," whispered Celeste. "Dogwood berries," chirped the thrush. "You remembered. Help me get this branch into your cage." She poked one end of the branch into the cage, and Cornelius eagerly plucked several berries, gobbling them down 2 at a time. Celeste whispered, pull your end." Pull it where? What are you trying to do?" "You'll see, just keep pulling." They pulled and pushed until the dogwood branch was in the cage, and with one final shove, Celeste sank the chewed end into the brass water dish. "Hey, that's my drinking water," said Cornelius. "Keep your voice down, listen. The next time Joseph starts to sketch, sit right about here." Celeste was pointing to a spot on the branch. "And it wouldn't hurt if he sang something." "Well, pardon me for not wanting to sing day and night. Being cooped up in this cage doesn't especially make me want to sing," said Cornelius, swallowing another berry. "Just try, strike a pose, sing, he'll love it." "Like this? You can't be serious." Cornelius perched on the dogwood branch and preened his primary and secondary feathers, adjusting them perfectly, and lifted his head as though to sing. "That's perfect, promise me." "All right, I promise." The nearby snoring stopped, and Joseph sat up. He scratched his head as he shuffled over to his desk and let out a gasp. "Oh, little one, you came home. Where Where have you been? He gathered up Celeste and cradled her next to his cheek, stroking her and giving her tiny kisses on her ear. I have missed you so much, you brave little critter, to come home to me. Celeste burrowed between his palms and wriggled rapturously, relishing the warmth and safety of his gentle hands. Joseph found a few peanuts for her, then slipped her into his usual spot, his shirt pocket. Smiling, he then peered into the little wooden cage. Good morning, you my little friend, he said to Cornelius. Here's a little present. And from a dish on his desk, he retrieved several ripe but somewhat squished blackberries. Here you go, eat up. Cornelius eyed the blackberries. Come, my friend, you have to eat and keep up your strength. We're counting on you for a fine painting, you know. If only I could get the background right. Hey, I see Mr. Audubon added a branch to your home. This would make a good background for the painting. Joseph went to the desk and gathered up some pencils. Celeste squeaked from the shirt pocket. Psst, Cornelius, now's the time. Cornelius hopped gracefully onto the dogwood branch, fluttering a bit, took a deep breath, and began to sing. Out came the beautiful silvery notes, so sweet and fluid that Joseph dropped his pencils. My Lord, what beautiful music, Joseph whispered as Cornelius sang again. The song, a mixture of sweetness and melancholy, swirled through the room like a cool breeze. Joseph immediately took up drawing materials again, then sat in a chair in front of the cage. This time he worked, and he needed no eraser. His graceful lines of dogwood leaves flowed from his eyes and down into his hand and onto the paper. As Joseph worked, Cornelius lifted his head to sing again, and Joseph smiled with greater enthusiasm. The paint box came out next. Soon the page was covered with the soft greens of the leaves and bright reds of the dogwood berries. There was a knock on the door. Audubon stepped into the room. Working so early, Joseph? Yes, monsieur. The morning light. Everything is just right. Audubon stood in front of the thrush painting, his eyebrows arched. Ah, Joseph, I see my instruction has inspired you. This is beautiful. Your dogwood is perfect. Joseph stepped back from his work. It was perfect. The wood thrush in the painting was now at home among the leaves and twigs of the dogwood tree, and Joseph could see that it was just right. He smiled at the wood thrush. Thank you, Mr. Thrush, he whispered. Celeste smiled. Her plan had worked. And there's Joseph, and you can see his picture right down there with the dogwood berries and Cornelius. And we will start chapter 25 tomorrow. Now, boys and girls, one last thing. Going to do a couple more states when you color the United States of America. So let's first of all put the shortcut initials. We're still doing the West. These are the Western states. These are called the Four Corner states because their boundaries of their state lines meet exactly in the corners like that. Now we're going to start with Oregon, and that's O-R, so print that in there. And then Idaho has this long arm sticking up. It's I-D. And next to Idaho is Montana, M-T. Below that is Wyoming, W-Y. And this last angled one here is Nevada, N-V. And remember, you have to color these. So I will just start and give you an idea and won't finish using my gray one for this. I'm gonna get that all colored in. And I'll come back and finish that some more. And I think I'll use a bright green one here for Oregon. So I'm gonna go back and finish that one too. And I'm gonna use orange for Idaho. This has a very interesting shape of a state with this long arm right there. And you go ahead and finish Montana and Wyoming. And then we'll basically have the western states finished. We'll do a little bit in the plains and the south, and we're almost done. All right, boys and girls, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.